Hello, cinema peeps.
Hello.
Hey Cinema Peeps, welcome back to another Talkie Tuesday.
Hey, Cinema Peeps. Hey, Cinema Peeps. Welcome to another episode of Talkie Tuesday.
Hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hey, Cinema Peeps.
Oops, I need my light. I need to be the star.
Oh. Redo.
Redo. Fucking did it. Fucking did it. It is a very, very warm last week of September.
Yes, it is. It is 27 degrees today.
I think it's getting to 29 here.
Oof.
Let me check. Woof, 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 woof.
That's like unheard of.
Right? It wasn't too bad. We went for a walk. Oh, sorry. It's only 28 right now. My bad.
Well, 1 degree higher than here.
It's gotta be just one up. One up. But I guess to be fair, it's better than the alternative, which is early winter. So I guess I shouldn't complain.
Yes.
It's just was already making the transition into sweatpants and hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult when I have to go out and then I'm like, oh, it's so hot, but
I know.
am not taking any of this off.
Right? I'm at that awkward stage in the shifting of the seasons where I'm like, it's warm, but is it shorts weather warm? So I'm like, I'm wearing jeans right now, but I'm wearing a tank top because I'm like, I don't want to be sweating my ass off, but I also don't want to be freezing at the same time too, wearing shorts. Because I think shorts weather's officially over.
Oh, I'm wearing shorts.
Are you? Okay, well, I guess for me then maybe, but.
But again, would I rather be wearing sweatpants and a hoodie? Absolutely. Me and my family sat down and we watched Thor: Love and Thunder for my daddy's birthday.
Nice. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Daddy.
And your thoughts now that you've seen it?
I liked it, but I definitely see what you were talking about, and it was kind of funny because we went out to dinner the next day after that, and my parents were also kind of talking about how they felt like some jokes were very forced. I think for me though, there's just a couple story things in terms of editing that were a little weird to me.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cute that they're I didn't mind the pausing segments where they cut to them Thor and Jane being romantic or doing all the subplot thing. I thought that was fine. I thought that was cute. But it was kind of weird because she goes to see the hammer. The hammer comes together. And then we cut to Thor going back to New Asgard, and Jane's been there, I guess, already. The people know her as this defender of Asgard. And same with Valkyrie. So that to me was a little weird.
Yeah, right?
I feel maybe there was other things in there.
Yeah.
That kind of felt weird just in terms of the time table.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
was
thing.
I was hoping they were going to show kind of there's a fly flying around here. Sorry. Maybe that's
Top
what I've
tier
been coughing
episode.
up.
Top tier episode.
Anyways,
top tier.
Back on track. Yeah, no, I thought that there would be a flashback or her kind of explaining maybe what was going on.
Yeah.
Being oh yeah, this is where I've been and this is what happened kind of thing. And now here I am. But no, it didn't really explain that.
Right. And I mean, I'm all for her and Valkyrie having, awesome girl boss relationships, but
Totally.
It just didn't feel validated.
Yeah.
Where it was just yeah, it's here, and you're okay, I guess we're going with it. I'm not mad at it, but just I feel maybe we should have slotted in something in here.
Yeah. Well, and I felt too maybe I'm just because I'm still trying to go back and remember everything that happened, but I'm I felt this movie should have been and was trying to be maybe more of an origin for Jane, or not an origin, but just kind of a movie about her as Lady Thor. But it's just it's almost it kept clashing with Thor a little bit more. And so I'm not sure what there was just something that there was a little bit of friction there that just wasn't meshing very well together. It was like, because we were still trying to obviously tie up that whole thing with him and her, like the two of them hadn't obviously seen each other in how long, so he's got to like
8
make
years,
up for lost
2
time
months.
and stuff. Yeah, right. So it's like there was that whole thing, but then at the same time too, it's like, yeah, let's see her like kick some ass, and now that she like what is her motivation for wanting to take this on now, kind of thing, other than the fact that she wants to be connected with Thor again, like, you know.
Yeah, like there's a couple weird story things that I feel like there had to have been a shot missing or something.
Yeah.
You know. But really that's kind of like my only big complaint. And also again, like I think it was supposed to be like funny, like Thor always doing his speeches kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that, and my mom put it, extra cheese with a side of cheese, very machismo kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, that to me at times was like really weird, because it's like, haha, Thor's doing these funny things, but then immediately it was like, hi, I'm Christian Bale and I eat children.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not what he was doing, but like, yeah, there is those times that didn't like really go together.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like I didn't hate it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, when there was like these polars like, I really hate it, or you're gonna really like it. I was like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. Do I wish some things were different? Absolutely. But
yeah,
I think it was also a nice send off for Jane as well. Because I don't know how much Natalie Portman really wanted to be in the MCU anymore. So I think this was a nice kind of wrap up for her and Thor. Could have been better, yeah, but
yeah, I think that was the main thing. I enjoyed it. And then, but I was also like, it was just bits that were missing. I think that was the biggest thing. And
I feel that,
like the scene where he's talking to Zeus and stuff like that, felt like it went on a little too long. And I was like, okay, let's get the ball rolling here. Like, I'm not sure what, like, the goal was to talk to him to get his lightning bolt, but did they end up really needing the lightning bolt? Like, it was just, I don't know, it just felt like a weird filler to put in there kind of thing, right? There wasn't a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, felt like it went on too long.
I liked that they were like, all gods are dicks.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, there we go. That was the message I got. Yeah. I understood. And I should have figured this too, but Jamie Alexander was posting a lot because she plays Sif in Thor. And I really liked her from Blind Spot, so I was very excited for her to see her again. But of course, I should have figured she was in the movie for about a total 10 seconds. I was like, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I kind of knew that was gonna happen. But at the same time, I really wanted her to be in there longer. But they did show her at the end and in New Asgard. So
yes, I
do hope she comes back. She has one arm, but like still, I hope she come back.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because I really enjoy it. I don't know if I really enjoy her character in Thor. I just like seeing her.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's up?
Right?
Blind Spot. Isn't this great? You're doing shit. I love it.
That's funny, yeah. Well, they did too, I believe it, because they were kind of showing like the death montage of all the people that he knew that got taken and stuff like that. So Zachary Levi did also get a cameo in there as well. So I was like, yeah.
Oh my god, the fucking play shit kills me every time. They got fucking Matt Damon again, Thor's brother again, and then Melissa McCarthy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then of course they're like, should we do another play? The people are gonna need it. And Fucker's like, I don't fucking. And they're like, guys, we got this. Let's start writing the play. I'm like, fuck, that's so funny.
That was really good. That was a funny moment. The screaming goats were funny too. I'll be honest, like every time it was like, ah! Like I laughed. That gave me a chuckle.
Yeah, it's the simple things in life.
Yeah,
it's the
right.
simple things. I think the other time is because you had saw it before me, so you had texted me. You're like, oh yeah, you're gonna love the end part. And I was like, oh okay, and boy did I love it.
Oh yeah,
Roy Kent.
Kent.
All the boys from the Richmond soccer team are being introduced in the MCU, and I'm A-okay with this.
Right?
We had I Love Football.
Football is live.
In Venom 2.
Yeah.
At
the end of Spider-Man.
In Spider-Man. Sorry, my bad, Spider-Man. I'm talking to Venom. So really, if they're coming to MCU, love it.
Hell yeah.
Love it. We need to get Jamie Todd. We need to get all the boys.
Yes.
Everybody needs to come. Everybody needs to come.
Yep.
Yeah, I literally screamed because he's doing this long speech and he's like, you have to show them da 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 da, and I was like, who's it gonna be? And then he was like, yes, Father. I was like, Roy Kent. He's every fucking word, Roy Kent. Again, speaking of like wanting to adjust to fall weather, I want to wear that sweater you gave me.
Hell yeah.
Roy Kent.
Yeah.
But it's too hot.
It is too hot, yes.
Yeah, I think that's all my overall thoughts about Thor.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder. And
Love
of
and
course,
Thunder.
even at the end of the credits, it did say Thor will come back. So
Yes, this is true.
he's still going to be kicking around.
Yeah.
Was my thought.
I was gonna say before we wrap up on that, but I enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy cameo at the beginning. I thought that was pretty good. It was nice to see them again. And I did think that Christian Bale was a little underrated in this movie. I did enjoy his villain. I liked what he was doing with it, and I kind of wanted to see more of him. Like I don't think there was enough of him in there.
He creepy.
I think he did so well. Maybe his character was supposed to be just kind of like a B lower in the background kind of thing, because it was more about like Thor and Jane, unless I don't know, but I was like, man, like he did such a great job. I'm like, I want to know more about this guy. I want to see more of him. So yeah.
Right. Oh, bro, the sequence where Thor's like, let me just give all these children powers.
Yeah.
Bananas. Fucking loved it.
It was
I was
cute.
like, oh, we can do that now? Okay, cool,
They're
sure.
like, yeah.
Let's fucking do it, I guess. Let's
Yeah.
fucking do it. What was my other thought? Oh, slightly fun fact, I guess. I knew one of the things. So that sequence where Thor's like running in the woods growing up. So the first boy that's running is actually his son.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cute. And I didn't realize this till the end of the film. But I guess the girl that plays Christian Bale's daughter, that is also Chris Hemsworth's kid.
Oh, okay.
He's just like, let me just get all my children starting work early in the MCU. Let's go.
In the MCU, yep.
Let's go.
Young
get
Avengers,
in there.
here we come.
Right? Let's get to work, kiddies.
Wow.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I felt like some things were missing, and a couple of the themes just sometimes felt like they were clashing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other thing I've been consuming all this week is the Light and Magic documentary.
Yes, which I would love to start watching, because you've been showing me some little glimpses of it on Snapchat, and I definitely want to get started watching it.
You would love it.
Yeah.
I will warn you, episode 4 does show some ET off, so just like close your eyes.
Okay,
for those
I'm sure I can handle it.
It's not for very long. They just kind of talk about some of the special effects they did for ET.
Oh, okay, that'll be cool.
It's amazing seeing like all the miniatures they make for everything.
Oh, I know.
Is insane. But yeah, words are so hard these days. But yeah, basically the documentary is it's called Light and Magic, and it's about the industrial light and magic special effects company started by George Lucas. So it starts how they made the first Star Wars film, and how there was no such thing as like a special effects house, you know.
That's crazy.
Not only did they have to find all these people, and they picked like like any kind of, not any kind, but like they tried to find people that they or at least wouldn't be, how did you describe it? Not because most people who did even like work in this kind of niche area, you know, it was always like, oh, there's no way we can do that. The technology isn't invented. So George Lucas tried to pick people who were like big dreamers and who wouldn't be, you know,
kind of like
down.
Kind of like the Imagineers or whatever for Disney. Yeah.
Right? They wouldn't be weighed down by the fact like we can't do this. It was how can we do it kind of thing. And the fact that they spent, what was it? They had like a year and a bit to make the special effects, and a good chunk of their time they spent just building the technology that they needed to shoot the film. Wow. Which is just wild. Like they had to like think of how to do, like they built camera rigs, they built like their first kind of like motion cameras. They had to build like computers by scratch. They also made this giant ass like machine that basically what it did was that when they would shoot something with like say like it's a sequence of the plane, or not the plane, sorry, the spaceships flying in space. So they would do like, okay, so here's the one plane, here's its motion, and then they would layer that with like another a special effect of like maybe a different spaceship and then all the rocks, and then basically the machine would flatten them and then basically take another picture of all of that together.
Oh
and that's
my
how
God.
they would make like the special effects of that. It is just, it's wild to watch.
Oh, I
And
can't wait
then
to start watching it.
it's really good. And then basically it goes through, it goes to the first movie, to like the second movie, and basically kind of talking about how in the time that George Lucas had to write these films, you know, like there was nothing for these guys to do. So eventually George was like, yeah, friends, if you want to use them, please use them. We need them to stay in business. So
Yeah.
they were doing like projects back to back. They talk a lot about Steven Spielberg, and he makes quite a few appearances, I think, in episode 3 to 4.
Nice.
About the special effects for like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, they do like E.T., the Poltergeist. They do a little bit about that,
Cool.
which is insane. How they again, it's amazing to watch them like create all this stuff before your eyes. And there's some things where it's like, oh shit, that was all a model. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
like, that was all a puppet. Like it's amazing and very inspiring to watch.
Oh, totally. Oh, I'm just getting chills. I'm like, I want to go watch it now.
Do it. Watch it now. Do it. And of course, again, it's weird. Like Star Wars is definitely not one of my favorite like film franchises. Like it's fun to watch, but I just have so much respect for like what Star Wars has like done to like the film industry.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how much it's changed. In one of the slightly recent episodes I was watching, George knew right away, like after the second Jedi film or Star Wars film, like how he wanted to move things to digital, like already, and so many people were like, "Oh, no," but he was like a very early adapter of like making like digital editing, because he's like, I fucking hate editing, like the way they had to do it with like the film strips. So
Yeah.
he found a way to do it digitally, and he invested really early on into like motion graphics, and it's wild to me. So they were working on stuff again, like in the computer, like how it like interprets images and like how you can program code in a computer to do certain things. And basically, so he had this kind of side company that was doing that, and they created this machine that helped them, you know, read images and manipulate stuff in like the computerverse, and they called it Pixar. And then eventually the guys who were working there wanted to do like short films in this digital world, but Lucas was like, I'm not into that, so he sold that to Steve Jobs, which obviously the name should be very familiar, turns out to be the Pixar film company.
Wow.
And basically George was like, well, I don't really want to do that, so they took like some of that technology so they could apply it to their special effects for their movies.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool.
And again, one of the guys who was working on there, he just casually made Photoshop.
Wow.
It's just insane. I'm like, is this for real? Like, what the hell?
That's crazy. Yeah, just to think like because of him and because of Star Wars, like none of these things would have ever existed.
Right? It's mind-blowing. Although right now, even though I don't think there's going to be a resolution to this, so we're now in the point of the documentary, like we're in the 80s, so they're really pushing for digital. Like they're really pushing. But there's this clash right now in the effects shop, because there's still the traditional people who are doing modeling and puppeteering and stuff, but they also have the digital department, and they're kind of butting heads because they're like, they don't want to adapt to the new way.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
I don't think there's gonna be a closure on that. I think it's just gonna be like, there was animosity in the shop.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was a happy ending to that. But like on one hand, I absolutely understand, because some of the people who were at that time were some of the people who started on Star Wars, and like when you watch it, you see like how much of a family they are. You know, so that's what they were feeling. They felt like their family was being torn apart.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's wild. It's crazy. But I'm on the last episode where now they're talking about, oh, Spielberg wants to make this film about dinosaurs. So that's all going to be talking about Jurassic Park.
Ooh, awesome. Oh, I'm so excited to watch.
And I think that's the last episode, I think. Yeah.
That's so
series.
cool. Oh,
But yeah.
that's probably the biggest part of like why I just love filmmaking and movies and stuff like that. It's just
Right.
hearing all that kind of stuff and then just realizing like it's like you said, it's so inspiring to hear and see what these guys did, because you think now, like, just with the caliber of effects and just like things like how epic these movies and like just making movies on set and stuff is, you think to yourself, oh well, like I need thousands of dollars in order to do that kind of stuff, or I don't have the tools or the abilities to like do some of these things. But it's like, but that's how these guys got started. Like that's all they did was either find the people who could, or they put something together and they were like, done, this is what we're using, kind of thing, right? Like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, there was even a guy in the documentary talking about how, because again, like as you go through, right, you start with kind of the original OGs who started like the company, and then you kind of slowly meet other people who eventually came to work for them, and they talk about how they were inspired by that previous generation. And this one guy even said, he goes, oh, when I saw Star Wars, it like changed like my life in a way, but I always thought that like I needed years and years of experience to even consider working in this field. But like these guys didn't know what they were doing either. They kind of just figured it out as they went along.
yeah.
You know, so like that's just, it's cool to know. It's like, oh yeah, I don't need to know everything right away. Like I just have to be able to problem solve and just be able to just think creatively.
Yeah,
and just,
exactly. Don't doubt
think outside
yourself.
the box.
And...
I think one of the things that just like blew my mind, I don't know why, but the scene, I think it's in the first, or maybe it was in the second one, where like or I think it was in the first one, where the Millennium Falcon goes into like a hyperdrive or whatever, hyperspeed, whatever the fuck it's called.
Warp speed or whatever.
And you see the shot from the back of it, and it goes like barreling forward, and like all the stars kind of stretch a little bit, or yeah, it's just like the camera's pulling away really fast, and it just has that like appearance of that. So what it turns out, even though they built a model that's like 10 by 5 feet, like it was a huge ass model, probably bigger than most people's kitchens. Like it was huge.
Oh yeah.
And they were having problems like trying to do that shot because the model was so big and they only had so much space, and again the camera rig wasn't quite right. So the guy just took a picture of the model from behind, put it on like a stick, and then he just moved the camera back.
Really?
Yeah. And then he was like, and George was like, yep, that's good. And he was like, perfect.
Wow.
I just can't look at that shot the same now. I'm just like, it's just a picture.
It's just a picture, yeah.
I mean, since it is, movies are just pictures, you know, but like,
A still
again,
picture.
thinking back to when you're like you're saying like, oh, we need thousands and thousands of dollars, and yet there's all these like shots they just did. And then there was one guy who was like, oh yeah, in was it the last Star Wars? He just used everything and anything. He's like, I used my tennis shoe as like a spaceship. I used like potatoes, like just to fill in the empty space and stuff. And
That's crazy.
it works. I mean, it's also cool to see when they would also do what they called the matte paintings.
Yeah.
Where they paint on glass and then they would shoot, and then whatever they wanted that was actually like film or whatever they actually shot was in the negative space of that. That's always just like,
Oh, I know, right?
I just don't think you're ever gonna get that, like, that same look or feel ever again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, no dish to like modern technology, but it's just, there was something about it that's just like, aw,
Right?
you know?
Well, I think that's the
It's
thing
just
too
crazy.
with like, I mean, I don't know. I'll like when we talk about like even like the Terminator, like that whole scene that we learned about in school, I think it was, where it was like that one scene of it being crushed under the machinery or whatever, was like, it was literally just like the puppet, a few bits of like scrap metal, and some guy with a cigarette just blowing smoke to get the effect of like the smoke and stuff like that. And like when you look at it now that you know, you're like, okay, I can see it, but it's not like, it doesn't take you out of it kind of thing, right? It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
it's cool. So like for me, I know just speaking for myself personally, sometimes I get so stressed about a shot not looking cinematic enough or believable
Yeah.
enough that I don't realize, and I'm trying to like get better at paying attention to this when I watch movies and stuff like that, is that even some of like the most like, it's just, you look at some of the shots that are in movies and they're not cinematic, But what makes it cinematic is the piecing of it together in the story and in what you're like you know,
Yeah.
seeing and creating in your brain kind of thing, right? And so that's kind of the science that I'm trying to like remind myself and learn myself so that I can become a better filmmaker that way, is not being
Right.
so focused and stressed about making every shot cinematic looking, and just like, you know, get the shot that's going to be perfect, or get the shot that's going to actually help tell the story. Don't worry so much about how it looks, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I've just been geeking out on this documentary as of late.
That's awesome.
It's just been amazing to watch. Like I said, just it's I'd say if you like filmmaking, like this is right up your alley.
Oh, hell
It's
yeah.
so much fun. And again, maybe if you're even a big Star Wars fan, like first couple episodes, they talk a lot about Star Wars and the making of. So
Yeah,
even if that interests you, you know.
definitely.
But yeah, I have to finish it hopefully sometime this week.
Nice. Yes, I will definitely get started watching that. I'm still there because Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling are still doing the Talkville podcast, where they watch an episode of, they're watching every episode of Smallville and talking about their memories and their experiences on set, and just like rewatching the show as fans now. And so it's kind of similar to what you're experiencing watching this documentary. Is it's fun and really cool to hear them talk about their experiences and some of the stuff that they experienced back in like the early 2000s, of like, for even them, they were like, Smallville was the catalyst for all these superhero shows that are on TV, let alone on the WB network and stuff like that. And they say, like, you know, the pilot of Smallville was the most expensive pilot ever in television history, or at least in Warner Brothers history, until like Game of Thrones basically came along. But and that was like unheard of for television, right? And like all this new visual effects technology came out, and like of course when you watch it back, it's obviously some of it doesn't, you know, still hold up as well as some of the new technology. But just it's so cool to hear them talk about that every episode. They kind of mention little things like that, and all the little nuances that they had to, you know, experience behind the scenes and for things like that. So I'm like, you know, I'm like geeking out over listening to all the episodes on the podcast and them talking about stuff. And sometimes they'll bring guest stars. So like this week they had the guy who played Clark Kent's dad on the show, and him talking about just like, because Tom Welling at the time when he started Smallville, he was a new actor. Like he didn't know anything. He was just kind of like a sponge, right? He was just trying to absorb everything he could. And he was a big fan of Dukes of Hazzard, and the guy who plays his dad on the show was in Dukes of Hazzard. So for him to play his dad was the coolest thing ever. And he was like just in awe of him. And he was like, I just wanted to follow you, and like anything that you said or did for like acting purposes, like he's like, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to learn everything from him. And so to know that the two of them had that chemistry behind the scenes, it like reflects their performance as like father and son kind of thing. So again, it's cool to hear those stories and stuff like that, because then it's like, it's nice to see that though they were doing those types of things for the filmmaking. It's not like, oh, these are two great actors and they're just acting. It's like, no, they actually developed a relationship, and they actually had a thing together that obviously created a bond on and off set, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I hope one day they do that for like Arrow or Flash. The one time, like whenever they're done, you know, 10 plus in the future, they'll sit down. I don't know if I need every episode recapped, but like,
right,
I would love to hear more. I mean, I think that's just obviously for the both of us. We love just hearing all these things and what makes them great.
Oh yeah, I think it's cool. Like,
you know?
So far I've been lucky enough to at least find content on all the shows that I watch, with the exception of a few, of them being able to like talk about their experiences, so like Supernatural and like Chuck and all that kind of stuff. So it's just fun to hear. Maybe not everybody's interested, but I certainly just love to hear people's experiences creating these things, because it just adds more appreciation to the show, I guess. Yeah, and to the whole creation of it, right?
Just like more love for the show.
Yeah.
As we said, we never want to hear. I mean, not that we never, that's a strong word, but like you don't like always hearing when it's like, oh, this was a terrible experience, it was horrible. True. We were slogging for days. Yeah. But sometimes it is like where it's like, oh, we have to do night shoots back to back. It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
But, you know, just hearing, the evolution, the creation, and things that you just don't think about.
Right.
And you're like, oh, wow, that's I didn't know you did that, or, oh, wow, that's what that is. It's just great to hear those stories. like, yes, not all the time, like, filmmaking can be exhausting. It can, drag on for days. But yeah, just hearing all these, like, little things that make it unique, and specials. Always fun. I think with that, I will wrap up today's podcast.
I think so.
Oh my god, the biggest yawn on planet Earth, it feels like. But, Yar, if you sat through all of that, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, we try to do episodes every Tuesday, but sometimes that just doesn't work out all the time. But I mean, we're getting into fall and winter, so we're definitely gonna do a couple more. We're still gonna keep chugging along. We have a couple ideas in the pipeline, so definitely stay tuned for that. And if you want to catch these awesome, cool ideas we have, consider subscribing today.
Yay.
It is free, and you get to see our wonderful faces.
Plus, we have a goal.
Nailed
If you're new and if you're just tuning in, we have a
Yes.
goal of reaching 69 subscribers on YouTube.
Are we there yet? I haven't
We're at
even
61, I believe. We're at 61.
Ah,
So we're
come on,
chugging
people.
along. Come on,
69.
everyone. Let's get to
69. 69.
But
It'll
then
be
on top of
great.
that too, if you do subscribe, check out some of our other episodes because we talk a
Yes.
lot about different movies and not just movies. We talk about books, we talk about games, we talk about lots of different things, TV shows. Obviously, as if you could tell, we're big fans of the Arrowverse. So there's lots on that. But yeah, go check out some of our other episodes.
We also have themed episodes. We've done Stranger Things. Yeah, we got lots in
the
that
Hallmark
collection.
Christmas movies.
Yo, I'm so pumped this year. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, also leave a comment. What did you guys think? Do you have any recommendations for us to watch? Love to hear it. And consider giving this video a like because Kendra's gonna work very hard. And she deserves it. She deserves it. But anyway, cinema peeps, watch all the content and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Monkey monkey. And slap.